I'm just here. So when you're on a table, massage table, and you're allowing yourself to go fuzzy, that's essentially the skill set of what's going on in the right hemisphere. When you dive into water, you swim?
Not well.
Okay, but do you dive into water?
I do, yeah.
Okay, or even just in the shower.
Yeah.
When you dive into water and you feel the water, the pressure against your body, the temperature of the water, you feel the phenomenon of wetness. This is a present moment experiential opportunity. Diving into the water. Now, a lot of people might dive in the water because I'm racing and the whole goal is to get to the end because I got that left brain thing going on and that's the goal. But if I'm just being, this is, are you being or are you doing, right? When we're being, we're simply being here. We're being alive. We're being aware. We're being in experience. So as I take in this room, I take in this whole room. My left brain says, I'm going to focus on you, and I got these books, and I've got these things, and I got the brains, and everything's a thing. But to the right brain, everything is one thing. And when I live my life knowing that I can shift out of the stress circuitry of that left brain that says more cortisol, do, then when that's the push, the right brain is the pause. And that's why I was saying before, we're not a robot. We're not a computer. We are a biological organism. And so we don't plug ourselves in and turn it on and it stays on and forever until it dies and then we buy a new one. We have rhythms. We have natural patterns and we have to push. And we have to pause, and we have to pause because we are 50 trillion molecular geniuses that are eating and creating waste, and we need to clean up the mess. And that's what happens during sleep.
And so when you were stood there, you'd put your clothes on, the left side of your brain was offline. So you were very much in this sort of blissful, euphoric, present moment state. What did you do next?
I go through all the details of trying to get myself help. And that meant, to me, the one plan I could get between shifting back out into the euphoria of my right hemisphere where I'm just in bliss, I'm just happy, I'm just there, and I don't have a plan.
Why didn't you call 911?
Because it was just floating in a pool of blood. It wasn't there for me.
What do you mean?
Well, when you look at where my hemorrhage happened, it happened. So language, the creation of sound and language, dog is a sound. It's going to come out of Broca's area. And then Wernicke's area back here is going to place meaning on that sound. And my hemorrhage was impacting this whole area. And in there with language is numbers. 911. Didn't exist for me. Was not an option.
You can remember 911.
Didn't exist for me. It'd be kind of like I say to you, what's 8,322 times 4 million? It doesn't exist for you until you figure it out.
164,374. I'm joking. Imagine.
Exactly. So 911 didn't exist for me. So I had to, when I would come back into the left hemisphere consciousness, then I got to my phone and I have a phone pad here, and I spent 45 minutes waffling in and out, right hemisphere, left hemisphere. And finally I found my business card that had my phone number at work, and I had to set the phone pad up against right next to the business card and match the shapes, the squiggles, in order to figure out how to call my office because I had no idea what numbers were.
And what did you say when the person answered on the other end?
I said, "This is Jill, I need help." And what came out of my mouth was, "Roar, roar, roar, roar." And then I thought, oh my God, I sound like a golden retriever. And then he spoke to me and I thought, oh my God, he sounds like a golden retriever. I had a golden retriever and they're very verbal. Roar, 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 roar. So I knew at that point, I did not know, because I could still hear myself, my language inside of my brain. Language is very complex in this because different cells do different things. And in this left thinking portion, we can read, we can write. Those are completely different circuitries. We can speak, we can comprehend when others speak. I mean, it's complex. So this is a busy, busy, busy place. But as long as this is the only portion of our brain that we value, then we live based on the values of that portion of the brain. And what that brain values is me and mine. And I want more. And that's the world we're living in.
It's selfish.
Well, it certainly is.
Because people talk about there being a spiritual crisis in society at the moment with many of the things you're describing, the individualism, the narcissism, sociopathism, the leaders of the world being very zero-sum in how they approach economies and how they treat others.
Yeah.
You're saying that's because we're so...
Right there. Over here
on the right side.
On the right side. It's right here, right now. And in the right here, right now, what do I care about? I care about connection because I'm not individualized. Here, I'm a part of the whole. We are all standing around this beautiful planet, and I, man, is equal to all the other creatures and all the other life and to the life of the planet. We are one construct here, and we either figure out how to nurture and support and be one thing. We are one human family. In our right hemisphere, you are my brother. I love you. I can support you. I can nurture you. I can encourage you because you're a part of me. And then the left hemisphere comes online and says, oh, Jill, that is so inappropriate for you to say. And he has his body space and I have my body space, and we need to be formal, and we need to right and wrong and good and bad, and we need to establish how the construct of the social norm is that we are now going to take the mass of all that we are and fit ourselves in that so that we can communicate with one another and run a world.
You make that phone call.
Yeah.
You sound like a golden retriever. What happens next? Does your colleague get
He
concerned?
recognizes it is me. It is I. And he comes to my home. And back in those days, we had managed care. So you have to go to the right place or you don't get coverage. So he took me there, and then they took a picture of my brain, and then they put me in an ambulance and sent me to Mass General Hospital. And I'm still curled up in a little fetal ball going, hold on. And I was slowing down, and I knew that I was becoming weaker and weaker. And I wondered, how detached from my own ability, my own body, can a person become before they can never get back inside this tiny little body? Because I felt that I was literally energetically as big as the universe.
And what did that scan show? It showed a
major hemorrhage in the left half of the brain. Yeah, about that size. Actually, it was a little bigger than that on that day. But by the 2.5 weeks later, when they removed, that's why we have a golf ball sized blood clot from the left half of my brain. 2.5 weeks later, December 27. And then I woke up and I had this huge hemorrhage. I had this huge scar, but my mother comes rushing in and she says, speak to me, because this is my language. If my language cells are gone, I will have no language, and I will struggle the rest of my life for language. And I whispered to her, I'm better. And what I meant by I'm better was that I felt bright again. I felt bright. I felt like whatever life was going to give me at that point in time, I had brightness. I was still alive. I did not die that day. And when, so many people have said, what motivated you to get better? Or how could you have been so happy? And it was like, I did not die that day. And that meant no matter how disabled I was, I could not walk, talk, read, write, recall any of my life. I became an infant in a woman's body. At the age of 37, I completely fell off the Harvard ladder, and none of that mattered. All that mattered was I was alive. And what that meant was I had the potential to grow and heal and become whatever I would become. And it didn't matter. And it still doesn't matter. What matters is I'm alive. It's the gift of life, and that's, for me, the wonder of what we are as living beings. And we are at a time where we are in a mental health crisis, and our mental health is 100% dependent on the health and well-being of the brain. And the health and well-being of the brain is 100% dependent on the health and the well-being of the brain cells. So how do we nurture those cells and love those cells so that we can live the life we want to live, and we can live in joy, we can live in present, we can live feeling connected to something that is magnificent as a life force power of the universe, and have this magnificent left brain that allows me to have language, allows me to be a part of society in an effective way, and allows allows me to have pain from my past so I can learn and grow from experiences that have happened to me that I would rather not repeat.
What is the complex range of emotions you're experiencing as you recount the story?
Awe. I feel such awe for life. Life. This is life. There is life and there is death, and we have life. And life is the miracle construction of the universe. Argue about it all you want, have a million conversations about it, analyze it to death, but the fact of the matter is you are alive in this moment. You are alive. You can say you have eyes that can see and ears that can hear, and you have a digestive tract that can bring in nutrition, and you have manual dexterity, and you have mobility. You have legs that can run around the planet, and you have this magnificent mind so that you can do what you want to do. You are a miracle, and we have forgotten that. And for me, this whole stroke experience took me straight back to the part of my brain, that right thinking part that connects me in that transformation or that transcendence experience of being so much more than just a little human being running around the planet. Oh my gosh, life is this miracle. And it makes me feel awe and wonder. It excites me so much. And if everybody had that and recognized that and could grasp that and hold that, imagine the different world we'd be living in.
8 years.
8 years.
Of recovery.
Yes.